What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I wanted to do something a little bit different with the Harry Potter open world game. We've talked a lot about release dates, a lot about when this game could be shown to us, if this game even exists. I guess for the purpose of this video, just to kind of throw out a disclaimer in the beginning, is we're going to believe that the game exists and the game's going to happen in order to have this kind of discussion. You can't really talk about possible aspects of this game. We can't really have this kind of discussion if we don't believe the game is real, okay? So for the purposes of this video, we're just going to believe that the game is being worked on and we will eventually get it someday, right? Which I think a lot of people are kind of on that boat of like, hey, it may happen. I think it'll happen and it'll just happen whenever it happens. I'm not going to rush it, okay? So let's all just assume that. The thing I want to talk about in this video is about being evil in this game. Now, I feel like I don't necessarily know if this has been confirmed in terms of the leaks that we had last year that you could be evil. I feel like it was stated that you could be good, you could be bad, you could do bad things, but I more or less want to have a discussion of like what that could mean, like what could you actually do and kind of the ramifications of that in this game. I think it's awesome because when you think about Harry Potter, when you think about these games, a lot of them are actually just movie tie-in games, right? And so we've gotten a lot of just bad quality Harry Potter content for video games for such a long time. Again, like movie tie-ins, but the Lego games are always very solid, right? They're not like amazing, but they're not bad. We've had the Lego games, but a lot of times we're literally just playing the story of Harry Potter. I think that's what makes the idea of an open world game where, again, you like create your own student. There's all this customization. You pick your house, all that kind of stuff. You choose what you want to do. It's why it's so like people want it. It's why there's a desire for that kind of game because we've really never gotten a choose your own adventure in a way. Like it's not the whole like choose your own story kind of single player game. It's here's an open world RPG. You're gonna level up. You're gonna go to classes. You're gonna make decisions. You're gonna have friends. You're gonna go on quests. You're gonna talk like all of this stuff. We've never had a Harry Potter game like that, and that's why this kind of game is so wanted by so many people. That's why last year when the leaks came out about it, this thing blew up. There were so many people talking about it, and so many people were interested just because of the basic idea of the game. I think one of the things as well, again, like the topic of this video, is being bad. In what we've had so far of Harry Potter in general, it's always the good guy. And yeah, there's Slytherin, and there's history of evil, and there's more than just one villain with Voldemort and stuff. And so we see evil things happening for sure, but we're always on the side of good, and rarely do we get to do evil things. We don't. There's a lot of spells that are kind of like off limits, right? You're not allowed to use it. And so when it comes to being like a fifth year student, I was gonna say college student, fifth year Hogwarts student. It does, I guess, limit you a little bit because, like, are you going to be able to go out and do, like, Avada Kedavra to some people? Like, I don't think you're going to be able to do that because wouldn't you be, like, 16 years old, right? Or 15. Like, you're not that. Like, you're kind of a kid, right? And you're kind of learning your way. I don't know exactly how they would handle an evil path, quote unquote, because when you and I think it's an interesting discussion because when you think of games like even like Dragon Age or Mass Effect or Witcher, stuff like that, I mean, you can go very dark. Now, in some of those games, technically all of them, you're still kind of the hero. Your overall goal is still to do like a noticeably good thing, right? That's normally the goal. But how you do it can change. And I've played the most of Mass Effect out of all three of those games, so I'll talk about Mass Effect as my comparison. With Mass Effect, again, like the goal is always set. The primary like objective is always set, and you're going to solve it. And if you solve it, it's going to have like a good ramification. But again, how you get there, you can be quite a bad person in terms of like you can just make decisions that is going to hurt a lot of people. You can say a lot of things that is just hurtful in general. Like you can be just generally not nice. But you can't go like full on evil. You can't join like the bad squad, right? Same thing with Witcher, same thing for Dragon Age. You can't just all of a sudden pick up the game and reverse it. So there are limitations for these kind of things in games. So I'm not saying like, do I expect, but that's a question, right? Like, in this game, we're not going to just all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm just going to turn to the bad side, right? I'm just going to join forces with the enemy. It's not going to happen, but how they handle being quote-unquote evil is an interesting idea because, and again, like, the difference also is you're a kid. Like, you're a teenager in this game. Like, if you're a fifth-year Hogwarts student, you are under the age of 18. So you are you're looked at, I think legally, especially in the United States, you're looked at as a child. So, like, how, you know what I mean? How many bad things can you possibly do? Is it just kind of you being a jerk? Are you going to kind of show, like, tendencies that you can be bad? Like, can you take, I don't want to use the K word, can you, like, take out small creatures? And that's kind of like, well, you don't have to take them out. You can maybe put them to sleep. You can disarm them or something like that. Maybe they have a weapon, but you don't have to, what them. But you can if you kind of go down that path. Stuff like that. Stuff like that is like, how do you handle something like that in a game? And again, I feel like it's the most different for this for two reasons. One, because we're not really used to playing as anybody evil or anybody with, like, malicious intent in this kind of wizarding world. In a wizarding world game, you're not used to doing that. And secondly, you are a kid. So it's different than most games because however, you could look at maybe like Bully as an example. In Bully, you can choose to do bad things. You're not going to go out and, again, what people, but you can, like, wedgie them. You can, like, stick their heads into, you can do, like, quote unquote bad things. And you can be like a troublesome kid. You can be a troublemaker, right? But at the same time, like, you're limited because you're in high school. Or you're in, like, prep school or whatever you're in. So, like, you're not going to be able to go completely off the rails. Like a Bully 2 in college, you could really start to ask the questions of, like, all right, what are we allowed to do? Because now we're, like, adults. Like, we're going to, like, that's just what it is. If we're in college, you are an adult now. And so, like, what can you do in the game that would make you bad, and what can you do that can make you good? For Harry Potter, I do feel like it's limited, or for this open world game, it's limited. And again, it also depends on what overall you're doing. I mean, the game, again, it's not going to let you just change sides all of a sudden. You're still going to be, I assume there's going to be some sort of overarching quest, an overarching thing that's going to happen that you have to stop, or you have to prevent, or you have to do to do something just in general, right? You'll have to do something, and overall, that something will probably be for the side of good. Like, it just is. That's just how most games are. You're not, like, a lot of games, you're just on the good side. So you do generally good things. And so I feel like it would be a little difficult to put in, like, how you can be bad. But at the same time, if there's classes, and again, if there's, like, leveling up certain skills and traits, you can definitely maybe you can go to classes that really focus on, like, I like Defense Against Dark Arts isn't a naturally evil class, right? I know it's like there was a lot of mystery of that in the movies or in the Harry Potter, like, lore, right? Because you don't know what Snape's doing, and they constantly change teachers, and they're not really allowed to teach how to do self-defense some of the times, right? Just because of, like, the political stuff going on, or with Voldemort coming, like, you know what I mean? So they're limited. So, like, it's not by nature or naturally it's just an evil class, but maybe it's got something more to it that'll lead you down a darker path. Or if you do a certain thing, you're allowed to upgrade your skills, upgrade your traits, and you can kind of pick, like, maybe, if you learn a lot about, I don't know, like, creatures, like, that's not necessarily as evil as if you put it towards, like, attack spells or something like that. Maybe that's, like, a thing that you can do. So I do feel like there are ways. I feel like you gotta get pretty clever with it, and I'm totally interested, like, if, again, the whole purpose is we're going along the lines of the game's real. If the game's real, if we end up seeing it, and there's a lot of talk of, like, hey, there's a lot of decisions you can make in this game. You don't have to do it one way. There's a lot of different things. You can kind of build your character how you want. My biggest thing is, like, okay, well then, and I'm sure people talk about it, I'm sure people make videos of it when the game's out, like, how bad can you be? How bad can you go in this game? People make those kind of, like, people talk about that, and people make those kind of videos and discussions for basically any game with that, is like, just how good can you do it, and just how evil. Even a game like, say, like Dishonored, right? You can go through the whole game without taking out anybody, and you can go through the game taking out literally everybody, and what does that do? Like, how bad does that make it, and how good does that make it? And people do it. People experiment and be like, well, if we take out everybody, the world sucks. Like, literally, in terms of the story, the world just falls apart because you're doing that. And on the reverse side, things go really well if you don't do it. So stuff like that, like, what would happen in this case, whether, which side you go, like, how bad can you make your character? What kind of evil deeds can you do? And also, how perfect of an individual can you possibly be? I think those are really, really interesting things that I really want to see. Those are going to be some of the biggest questions I have once we actually get the game. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? How do you think they can handle being evil and some of the evil decisions that you would make in this open world Harry Potter or Wizarding World game? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And keep showing your support if you guys want to see these videos. I love making them. I love talking about this game for you guys. So make sure you guys are liking, sharing, commenting, all that stuff, showing your support of these videos if you want to see more. And I will absolutely make more of these for you guys. Okay, so thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you all on the next video. Hey guys, firstly, thank you so much for getting to this far. This at the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. I do want to quickly remind you guys, we are doing a community event on December 21st. It is the Saturday. It's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If you guys want to play with us, we have the video up on the channel. Make sure you guys go watch that video and leave in the comments that you want to play with us. It's also a live stream event, so you guys just want to kind of swing by, watch us play the game, have some fun right before Christmas. It's going to be an absolute blast, and I hope to see you guys there.